you imagine one of the earliest jobs in being a seafarer was heading into war? Simon Griffith says when he was a teenager, he sailed into the first Gulf War near Iran and Iraq as part of an ongoing series with the Ministry of Maritime Affairs and the Blue Economy, recalling the lives and times of Barbadian seafarers. The art of being a seafarer is a tradition that entails a mix of abilities and posts. Each of those career choices posed unique responsibilities integral to the successful operation of schooners and other vessels in olden times. Many Bajan seafarers worked in such vessels and were well prepared for working in foreign maritime industries. Here are some of those recollections with men of honor telling our story.
I was a seaman years ago. My name is Simon Ricardo Griffith, better known as Mr. Love. But when I was sailing, they used to call me Dancing Terror because I used to do a lot of dancing. But I first was thinking about going to sea when I was about the age of 14. And then my dad turned and told me, "You want to go to sea? You better try and get a trade." But my mother insists that I will go to sea, so I got called a time back for a ship, but they wanted a carrying boy. That was for a ship, a Harrison line. But I was only 15, so I had to wait till I was 16. So at that time when I was 16, then I was working at Sam Gibbs, and I went up in the office that was in Tudor Street. Then they had just formed the Joint Supply Office along with the NUS, which is National Union of Seamen here in Barbados. So I went up there into the street and I saw a ship called the American Star. It had on the ABs, it had on a deck boy, but no name for the deck boy. And the motormans and the greasers and the oilers. So while I was about to leave, I saw Mr. Coward, who was in charge of the union at that time, because he know me. And I said, "But I see you have a ship there called the American Star and it don't have no deck boy." And I ain't really worrying about going as a carrying boy, I could go as a deck boy. So when I went back to work, then my mom called me about a couple hours after, but I was in the port. So when I got back into work, they told me that my mother called me. When I called her, she told me to go to Mr. Coward. So when I went, he told me, "Well, I got you for the American Star as deck boy, but you have to pay $5 to join the union." I had to pay $5 to join the union. So I went to my grandmother, got the $5, and then I was selected to go for that ship. But what happened is it wasn't ready yet because it was in dry dock. Not in dry dock, it was tied up because apparently there was a lot of those star boats. It was a Star Line too. And the agent for the Star Line was Mingyu, Boosting Ship Company, and that was run by Mingyu. So I been to the doctor, passed the doctor, and then I went to sign on. And then after I went to sign on, that was when I went to sign on. At that time, there was on the wharf, upstairs in the wharf that you used to sign on, a man named Mr. Bex. He and a gentleman by the name of Mr. Marsh, they used to sign you on. So I went and signed on, but the ship wasn't ready for the crew yet. So I spent about 2 months. That was in September, and I leave in October. I leave here in Barbados and I went to Barry. I joined the ship in Barry. We spent about 2 days in Barry in England, and then the ship went to Swansea, dry dock. So after then, I had a very nice time sailing, and I got my staying ticket there, and then after that I came home. And then I went on a tanker, joined that tanker in Japan, a ship called brand new, called the Nordic Spirit. And then after that, I was sailing for a very long time, but I spent more time home. Because my first trip I did 7 months, I came home and I spent 5 months. Then my second trip, I did 6 months. I came home there and I spent 5 months. And then the last time I went back out, I spent only 4 months because I was on a ship called the Casby. This ship was running Belgium, Montreal. But I went to some part of island near Sorrel and it got damaged. And Why go? Because it was only 10 days from Montreal to Belgium, and the ship had a big hole in it. It was sinking. So we went back to Canada to Montreal. We load, but we didn't load nothing in the number 1 hatch. If we did load anything in the number 1 hatch, she would have sink. So we went and we load. Well, she used to carry containers too, but what happened is she never did it for containers. But by putting the containers on the deck, they damaged the ship very, very, very bad. Very, very, very bad. So they take it then, and a guy named Johnny the Great, he bought it. And we came home, and they spent only 3 months then, and they went for a ship called the Timrose Star. Well, that Timrose Star, we had a very nice crew from the captain back down. We had a very nice crew, and we normally it was 7 to 9 months, but we did 9 months because they were not sending us home because we was a good crew. And at that time on that ship, we was loading, and we joined in New Zealand because the ship was running New Zealand to the Gulf, to Iran with lambs, carry a lot of lambs to Iran. We went there the first time to a place near Corporacan, and we offload. But then on the second trip back to Iran with lamb, that is when the Gulf War began with Iran and Kuwait. There was a ship out there called the American Star. The same ship I made my first trip on, and she brought down our meals to Muscat, because we been to Muscat because we were supposed to get like next Monday, and the war start the Monday in front. So if the war start the next Monday, we were to be up in the trap. So the guy came down, and they told me, man, that war, man, that's an awful thing. Never like to see war, boy, because there was a big chemical plant. He said that's the first thing they're going to blow up. They're going to blow up a big chemical plant. He said when that bomb drop in there, man, they shake the key. But they had just put out the last batch of alarm the night. So they had to came down in darkness, and that ship was a ship don't like hot weather. Do not like hot weather at all. Whenever she got hot weather, when she about to do 20, 22 knots, she just have a scabbage flyer, so she always have to slow down. But the guy told me that night, man, she can't do it 25 and bring them right down safe. So we was up in there, and the guy, we had to wait a little while, and then we went to a place belongs to Iran, and we offload, and we was backward and forward. Then after then, we came home from New Zealand. I really enjoy sailing. I will go back to sea tomorrow. I love the sea. Even though I finish, normally when I leave here and I going down, I always look into the port, see what ship is in, if it is offloading, all the things I do. Yeah, I really love sailing. I will go back to sea tomorrow.
Many Bajan seafarers worked on schooners, supertankers, and other vessels, and were well prepared for working in foreign maritime industries. Look out for other recollections soon. You can also follow the Ministry of Maritime Affairs and the Blue Economy on social media.